Can you talk a little bit about there's a time lag between what shows up in your finger and what we measure with muscle oxygen?
That's the other fascinating part. I mean, we at that particular time, like that was the way, and blood was the way we thought. Blood tells us what's going on in the body. Mm-hmm. And it's to a certain extent true. But it actually, I would term it differently. Blood tells us what circulates in the body and doesn't automatically tell us what happens in the body. Mm-hmm. So blood circulates through muscles and comes up to your finger. But when we think what we measure, when we actually look on a finger, we measure an overall feedback that somewhere in the body, somebody created metabolically lactate out of whatever reason, whether it was hypoxic or without oxygen, which is more the exemption than the rule, but we can create lactate very often without actually being what they call anaerobic or hypoxic. Mm-hmm. So we get a poke on the finger where we know that somewhere during this more or less high intensity activity, or even when we sleep, we created lactate. And so there is a missing link, and I think we explained it once before, that I said NIRS is you play the ice hockey game, lactate is you read the newspaper, what the game was all about. So you have a lag time, and that lag time is very individual and depends obviously also on what you do. If your cardiac output is faster, more intense, the blood circulates faster to your body, so you potentially have faster feedback than when you are actually at rest, where it takes longer. Okay. But it's very individual, and there is research done from when I went to school many years back, where the lag time can be between 1 minute up to 6-7 minutes. Okay. So to make a simple example, I do a 400 meter all-out run, where I learned in school this is a completely anaerobic workout, which we can discuss later, that right. I don't think it's like that. Well, it's not that I don't think. Researchers with much more knowledge show that it's not really that easy, and it's not just like that. So when I do a 400 meter all-out run, I collapse basically going to the 400 meter line, and I immediately take a lactate. The lactate level is not very high, right. Which surprises because we say the lactate kills you. So whatever happened in the body stopped you by 400 meter, and you basically quit. So if you take now a lactate after 2 minutes, after you collapsed, after 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and so on, you will see that in the majority of cases the lactate starts climbing up more and more and more and more. And you may actually have the highest lactate reading from somewhere between 10 and 20 millimole lactate, but you feel really, really good. But the blood tells you you shouldn't actually, you're very high. So this is what we talk about that lag time. So the question now is that 15 or 20 millimole lactate I measure after 6-8 minutes, that's for sure not all the lactate I produced. It's what left over and what I can see in my blood. Mm-hmm. So most likely the levels were much higher. But because lactate is not that ugly, we potentially used some lactate during this time as an energy source. Some may have still moved from the cell into the blood, some have moved from the blood back to the cell. We talk about this famous MCT carrier, where we try how can I train that, which is used in cancer research to see that I can avoid that lactate moves in the cell or out of the cell. So it is potentially much more complex than what we like to believe, which makes it then interesting on the one side, but mm-hmm. It makes it annoying on the other side, because now suddenly as a coach, you see, I now can take a 4 millimole, which I learned at school, sure. And that's where everybody stops, because it's a statistical value. Okay. So that lag time really was a second part why lactate is not, in many cases, an optimal way to control training intensity. Okay. So much nicer would be to know what happens in your muscle now, and know, not estimating or speculating what may have happened.